He had everything: fame, success, and the perfect image. Until love rewrote the story. After whispers of Brooks Nader, a new face has entered Jannik Sinner's life, and the world can't stop asking who she is. Tonight, we uncover the truth behind Jannik Sinner's new relationship and the secrets fame can never hide. You know that feeling when you think you've got someone figured out? When the world watches a love story unfold in real time, only to discover it was never really the story at all. Jannik Sinner just reminded us that in the world of celebrity romance, nothing is ever quite what it seems. The tennis world is buzzing. The gossip columns are on fire. And at the center of it all, a 23-year-old Italian champion who just went from courtside whispers with a supermodel to something entirely unexpected. Let's rewind for a second. Because to understand where Jannik Sinner is now, you need to understand who he was before the cameras, before the Grand Slams, before the world knew his name. Picture this: a small village in northern Italy. Not Milan, not Rome. We're talking about the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, where the mountains touch the sky and the air smells like pine and tradition. San Candido. Population: barely 3,000. This is where Jannik Sinner grew up. And this is where his story begins. His parents weren't tennis coaches. They weren't chasing fame or fortune for their son. His father worked as a chef. His mother was a waitress. They were working people. Honest people. The kind who believed in hard work and letting their kids find their own path. And young Jannik. He wasn't even supposed to be a tennis player. He was a skier first. Can you imagine? Before the forehands and the backhands, before the clay courts and the championships, Jannik Sinner was carving through snow on skis. He was good too. Really good. By the age of 8, he was competing. By the age of 10, he was winning. The trajectory seemed clear. A future in skiing. Maybe the Olympics. Maybe greatness on the slopes. But then something shifted. At 13 years old, Jannik made a choice that would change everything. He walked away from skiing. He picked up a tennis racket, and he never looked back. Why? That's the question everyone asks. Why would a kid with such promise in one sport abandon it for another? The answer is simple, yet profound. He loved tennis more. It wasn't about the accolades or the predictions. It was about passion. It was about waking up every single day and knowing, deep in his bones, that this was what he was meant to do. So he trained relentlessly. He moved away from home at just 13 years old to train at the prestigious Puati Tennis Center. Imagine being that young, leaving your family, your friends, your entire world behind, all for a dream. Most kids would crumble. Most kids would quit. Jannik. He thrived. His coach, Riccardo Piotti, saw something special in him. Not just talent, not just skill, but something deeper. A quiet intensity. A focus that most adults never achieve. Jannik didn't talk much. He didn't need to. His racket did the talking. By 2019, the tennis world started to notice. Jannik Sinner wasn't just another prospect. He was the prospect. At 18 years old, he won the next-gen ATP Finals. He became the youngest Italian to win an ATP title. The comparisons started rolling in. The next Federer. The next Djokovic. The future of tennis. But here's the thing about being called the future. It comes with weight. Massive, crushing weight. Every match becomes a referendum on your potential. Every loss becomes a question mark. Every win, just confirmation that you're living up to expectations. Never exceeding them. Just meeting them. And Jannik felt it. You could see it in his eyes during interviews. The pressure, the expectation, the world watching, waiting for him to either soar or stumble. Then 2024 happened. And everything changed. January. Melbourne, the Australian Open. Jannik Sinner walked into that tournament not as the favorite, but as a contender. Someone with potential. Someone who could win. But no one truly expected what came next. He blazed through the draw. Match after match. Set after set. And then, in the final, he faced Daniil Medvedev. A proven champion. A player who had been there before. Jannik went down to sets to love. Most players would have folded. Most players would have accepted their fate. Not Jannik. He clawed back. He fought. He won the next 3 sets. He won his first Grand Slam title. The tears. Did you see the tears? When he collapsed on the court, when he realized what he'd done, when he looked up at his team in the stands. That wasn't just joy. That was release. Years of pressure, of doubt, of wondering if he was good enough, all pouring out in a single moment. Italy erupted. The kid from San Candido had done it. He'd reached the mountaintop, but here's what most people don't talk about. What happens after you achieve your dream? When the confetti falls and the cameras turn off and you're left with what comes next? For Jannik, what came next was complicated. Because, along with the fame, along with the success, came something else. Scrutiny, and not just about his tennis. Enter Brooks Nader, supermodel sports. Illustrated swimsuit cover star. The kind of woman who turns heads when she walks into a room. And suddenly, in the months following Jannik's Australian Open victory, they were everywhere together. Or at least, that's what it seemed like. The internet did what the internet does. It connected dots. A photo here, a sighting there. A comment on Instagram. A like on a post. And before long, the narrative was written. Jannik Sinner and Brooks Nader, tennis champion and supermodel. The perfect couple. The kind of pairing that makes sense in the glossy world of celebrity culture. But was it real? That's the question everyone was asking. Were they actually together? Or was this just 2 famous people existing in the same orbit, blown out of proportion by fans desperate for a love story? Neither of them confirmed it. Neither of them denied it. The silence was deafening. And in that silence, speculation flourished. Tabloids ran wild. Fan accounts analyzed every interaction. Conspiracy theories emerged. Some said it was a publicity stunt. Others swore they were secretly engaged. The truth, probably somewhere in between. Maybe they dated. Maybe they flirted. Maybe they were just friends caught in the crossfire of public obsession. We may never know the full story, but here's what we do know. Whatever Jannik Sinner had with Brooks Nader, whether it was a relationship, a fling, or just a series of misunderstood moments, it's over. Or maybe it never really began, because now Jannik Sinner has debuted a new relationship. And this time, it's different. This time, there's no ambiguity, no speculation, no guessing games. Her name, Anna Kalinskaya. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because she's not just any woman. She's a professional tennis player, a peer, someone who understands the grind, the pressure, the unique madness of life on the tour. The photos emerged recently. Jannik and Anna together, not hiding, not being coy, just together, walking hand in hand, smiling, laughing, looking like 2 people who genuinely enjoy each other's company and the tennis world. It collectively exhaled. Because this makes sense. Not in the manufactured, headline-grabbing way that a tennis player dating a supermodel makes sense, but in the real, human, grounded way that matters. Anna Kalinskaya knows what it's like to live out of a suitcase for 9 months a year. She knows what it's like to lose a match and feel like your world is crumbling. She knows what it's like to win and feel invincible. She knows the loneliness of hotel rooms in cities where you don't speak the language. She knows the exhaustion that seeps into your bones after months of competition. She knows Jannik's world because it's her world too. They met, as most tennis players do, on the circuit, practicing at the same facilities, competing in the same tournaments, crossing paths in locker rooms and player lounges. For months, maybe years, they were just colleagues. Friends, perhaps. Two people navigating the same chaotic profession. And then, somewhere along the way, something shifted. Maybe it was a conversation after a tough loss. Maybe it was a shared meal in a foreign city. Maybe it was just the right moment, the right connection, the right understanding. What we know is that by the time 2025 rolled around, Jannik and Anna weren't just friends anymore. They were something more, something real. The tennis community has rallied around them. Unlike the Brooks Nader situation, which felt like watching two worlds collide, this feels natural. Other players have congratulated them. Fans have been overwhelmingly supportive. There's a sense that this is right, that these two people, who have both fought so hard for their careers, have found something precious in each other. But let's not get too swept up in the romance of it all, because Jannik's life right now is anything but simple. Remember? This is a guy who's still navigating the aftermath of sudden, overwhelming fame. A guy who went from relative anonymity to being one of the most recognizable athletes in the world in the span of a few months. That's not easy. That's not something you just adjust to overnight. And then there's the tennis itself. Jannik Sinner isn't resting on his Australian Open laurels. He can't. The nature of tennis, the brutal, unforgiving nature of the sport, is that you're only as good as your last match, your last tournament, your last result. He's had to deal with injuries, with losses that hurt more than they should, with the constant pressure to prove that his Grand Slam win wasn't a fluke, that he belongs in the conversation with Djokovic, Alcaraz, and the other giants of the sport. And now, he's navigating a very public relationship, with cameras following their every move, with fans analyzing every interaction, with the constant risk that something private becomes painfully public. Think about that for a second. Imagine trying to build something real with someone while the entire world watches, while every date is photographed, while every gesture is interpreted, while every moment of vulnerability is captured and dissected. It's not just difficult. It's nearly impossible. But Jannik and Anna seem determined to try. And maybe, just maybe, the fact that they both understand the madness of professional tennis will be their saving grace. Maybe they'll be the couple that makes it work, that finds balance, that builds something lasting in the chaos. Or maybe they won't. Maybe the pressure will be too much. Maybe the demands of their careers will pull them apart. Maybe what works now, in this moment, won't work in 6 months or a year. We don't know. We can't know. All we can do is watch and hope. But here's what strikes me about this whole situation. About Jannik Sinner and his journey from Brooks Nader to Anna Kalinskaya. About his rise from a small Italian village to the top of the tennis world. It's the reminder that celebrities, people in the public eye, they're just people. They make mistakes. They figure things out as they go. They don't have all the answers. Jannik Sinner is 23 years old, 23 at that age. Most of us were stumbling through life, trying to figure out who we were and what we wanted, making bad decisions. Learning from them, growing. Jannik's doing the same thing, except he's doing it with millions of people watching, with every relationship, every choice, every moment scrutinized and judged. And yet, he keeps showing up. He keeps playing. He keeps being human, flawed, vulnerable, real. That's what makes his story compelling. Not the fame, not the Grand Slam titles, not even the relationships. It's the humanity underneath it all. The kid from the mountains who dared to dream, who worked harder than anyone else, who fell in love and got his heart tangled up in public speculation, who's now trying again with someone new, hoping this time will be different. We're all rooting for him. Not just to win more tournaments, though that would be nice, but to be happy, to find what he's looking for, to build a life that matters beyond the trophies and the headlines. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all want, isn't it? To be seen, to be understood, to find someone who gets us, who knows our world because they live in it too. Maybe Jannik's found that with Anna. Maybe this is the beginning of something beautiful. Or maybe it's just another chapter in a long, complicated story that's still being written. Either way, we'll be watching. Because that's what we do. We watch, we speculate. We invest in these stories. We make them mean something to us, and maybe that's okay. Maybe there's something comforting in watching other people navigate the same messy, complicated, beautiful chaos that we all face, even if they're doing it under the spotlight. So here's to Jannik Sinner, to his past, his present, and whatever comes next, to his victories on the court and his courage off it, to his journey from skier to tennis champion, from unknown to icon, from one relationship to another. May he find what he's looking for. May he keep being human. And may we all remember, as we watch and comment and speculate, that behind every headline is a real person just trying to figure it out. Just like the rest of us. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Jannik Sinner's evolving love life and incredible journey, hit that like button and subscribe to Luminoir for more stories that go beyond the headlines. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think about Jannik and Anna. Are they the real deal? We want to hear your thoughts.